Okay. So, good morning. Is my screen is visible to everyone? Like Ramesh and Navin, you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, done. See, now let us start with this today's session of Advanced Excel with AI. So the course durations, as earlier said, the course duration will be the 45 hours. Okay. So in the session, the first we'll start with the basic Excel. Okay. First, we'll be discussing about the basic Excel. Then coming to the next, we'll be dealing with the advanced Excel topics. And third, after understanding this basic and advanced basic Excel topics and advanced Excel topics, and later we'll be discussing with the Excel with AI. So that same task which you do manually by using without the AI. So how you can automate your work by using the AI. So by using AI and Copilot. So how you can automate the task. So if I straight away I start with Excel with AI, the people will be confusing because in order to understand how to implement the AI concepts in an Excel, it may be for deriving any formula. So first you need to understand you should be thorough, like you should have a basic understanding of this basic and advanced Excel. So once you practically able to understand those and how you can integrate the AI to make this, if you're suppose if you're without using AI, if you're taking some hours, the task to complete some hours, or it may be a 30 or 40 minutes. But same for writing a formula or checking your formula, or in order to find out the errors in formula, or in order to automate your work, how you can use this AI concepts, that AI concept will be integrated into the Excel so that it will make your work very easy. So after finishing these classes, and it will be like a practical approach, and each and every class will be following some assignments and will be completed in the class itself. And apart after completing these topics, so we'll be providing 25 plus assignments will be provided. Okay. 20 plus 25 plus assignments we'll be discussing which is related to the Excel. And not only this, apart from this, and we will provide the live dashboard, how you can create, suppose some might the people having, so live interactives, we can create some interactive dashboards by using Excel. So if you join, when you have a concept of having the advanced Excel with AI, so you may get the job as a data analyst. Okay. When you join in any organization as a data analyst, so you will be getting the data. So with the help of the data, you will be creating some automated interactive dashboards. So after completing all the topics related to the basic and advanced Excel, using this, and you will try to create the dashboards, which we can incorporate many types of the visuals, how the visuals will be get automated. And while building this interactive dashboard also, we'll be using the AI concept so that how you can share some amazing dashboard to the client, and how you, as this will be the major role of the data analyst when we join in any organization. Okay, this is the general scenario of this basic topics, advanced Excel, Excel with AI, and we will provide 25 plus assignments and three live projects. We'll be discussing on three live projects related to the Excel. It may be building the dashboards or related to the, when you have some huge amount of the data. So how you can in the real time, how you will implement the projects. So those live projects we'll be discussing over here after the completing of these three topics of basic Excel, advanced Excel, and Excel with AI. So now let us go to first, if you want to understand. So there may be different set of the audience, maybe attending. Some people will have the experience, some maybe we have fresh knowledge on Excel, or some maybe have the, when you I rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. So some people may say I have the Excel as 5 rating. So I have the basic Excel knowledge, but I don't have an advanced Excel knowledge. Some people may say I'm good at basic and advanced, but I don't know how to integrate the AI features into it. And some people may say that I have no idea of any Excel, but I want to learn from the scratch. So by this session, we'll start from the basic Excel. We'll start from how the Excel interface will look. And slow by slow, we'll try to incorporate. And after 3 or 4 classes of the basic Excels, and you will be going to some advanced concepts also. A person who is having the experience on Excel also, they will find the classes interesting. But as a part, maybe freshers might be attending the sessions. So we'll start from the basic level. As the time progress, we can able to understand some advanced concepts and pivot tables like VLOOKUP, index maxing. So those type of topics which may be array functions that you will be discussing in the further classes. Now, without any wasting any time, let us start with the basic Excel, how you can go through this basic Excel over here. Now, in order to understand any first you need to understand what is the interface of the Excel. So the first topic of today will be the understanding of Excel interface. Understanding of Excel interface. Right. So when you ask me about understanding of the Excel interface, so actually the Excel interface, we have different type of bars will be there, different components of the to understand this Excel concepts like interface. The first thing you need to know, the first one you need to know about what is title bar. Okay, what is title bar? And second, you need to understand what are the different tabs in Excel. And third one, you need to understand what is the ribbon, Excel ribbon. And the fourth in the interface, you need to understand what is meant by quick access toolbar. And the next components you need to understand in the Excel is what is formula bar. And the next component you need to understand what is meant by worksheet area, what is meant by cell, what are rows, what are columns, and what are the different worksheet tabs. And seventh, you need to understand about what is status bar. Okay, what is status bar? And eighth, you need to understand what are scroll bars. So once you are able to find this, then it said that you have understood the Excel interface. So first thing, like in the today's discussion, let us see if I want to add any new cell, you could select this and right click on it. You click on insert. So you can understand, you can add one new row to it. So now what I am saying is, this is the top Excel interface we have discussed. So this sheet has no name. So I'm directly open the sheet. I have not named the sheet. So if you go to the how to go to the Excel workbook, just you can see when you click on Excel. So the blank Excel will be open. So if you not assign any name, so by the default, it will take the name as book one. Okay. So how you can name the sheets? Once you have incorporated some data, go to the file and click on save as. And I want to save it in my desktop. You need to come as browse and I want to save it in my downloads. I am naming this as data entry and formatting. Data entry and formatting. So this is the sheet I mentioned. So I'm saving this sheet in downloads. Okay. Once I save the sheet, the name sheet will be displayed over here. Okay, the name sheet which will be displayed over here. Now, when you look at this, when you look at the Excel interface, The first one we call it as the title bar. We have discussed about while understanding the different components of the Excel. The first one we discussed about the title bar. So this is we call it as the title bar. So in understanding whatever the name you have given over here, this is called as title bar. The first one we call it as title bar. And next we have the different tabs over here. Okay. What are the different tabs? So after below the title bar, this is the data entry formatting you have named the sheet that we call it as title bar. And below the title bar, you have some sheets like tabs over here. So this is called as file. File we have seen home tab. In the home tab, we have different types of the menu based options are there. With this menu based options, you can play with this data. So in the further classes, we'll be discussing. So this is the home tab. When you come to the insert tab, so we have the different options over here. So this is called as insert tab. So this is called as formula tab. This we call it as data tab. This we call it as review tab. And this is called as view tab. And the second after below the title bar, you will be having the different tabs and which each tab like insert, these are useful for transforming your data. So upon coming the next classes, we'll going with the home tab. You'll discuss how these different options will be useful for us in Excel. Okay. The second we call it as the second this call area we call it as tab. And below the tab you have different menu based options, right? This menu based options like home, you have this menu different menu based options. That menu based options we call it as the ribbon. So this is a home. This call is called home ribbon. So what are the options which are present over here in the home tab? This we call it as home ribbon. And when you open the insert, so we have different options are there in the insert. Here you can find pivot table, recommend pivot table, table. So this is called as ribbon. This area we call it as ribbon. So in the same time, if you open the data tab also, in the data tab also, we will be finding some options which will be useful for transform your data once we load into the Excel. So this we call it as ribbon. Okay. Now, apart from that, when you look at here, you have one called as quick access toolbar. Okay. Apart from that, you'll be having the one called as quick access toolbar. So what is meant by this quick access toolbar? So this we can see, we call it as quick access toolbar. This area, we call it as the quick access toolbar. That means what is meant by the step? Like suppose I'm mentioning it as Janardhan. Okay. So if I want to go one step back over here, so if you click this is undo, this we call it as video. I'm going one step back over here. See, it is good. So that means it for undo option for writing. Suppose if I am entered any data, I want to save this data here for control S, you can save the data. Data is saved. So this we call it as quick access toolbar. In the advanced formatting, in the advanced Excel, that if you have the very new versions, apart from the save, you have also have save as option. Now, if you answer, if it is this is called as redo. So once one step you if I want to go one step forward here, you got again the previous step what I've written as Sinathan. So undo and redo option that everyone having some basic knowledge they can understand. What is meant by back right lead back undo means you could go one step back. And if you click on redo, you will go and one step back, one step before, one step forward. So this we call it as quick access toolbar. Okay. Now, apart from that, if you're able to see, there will be another options called as formula bar. There is an option called as formula bar. Suppose in order to write the formula bar, I will write a very basic formula. So I have four. Suppose I'm typing few numbers like 5, like 6, 7, 8. Just I want to sum these numbers. How I can sum these numbers? In order to write this any formula, you will start with is equal to. I want to sum this number. You can click on sum. Once just click on the sum. Now you need to select from 4 to 8, right? Select the 4 and drag from 4 to 8 you select. And now you can close the bracket. You got the sum is equal to 5 plus 4 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 is equal to 30. Now, when you click on this formula over here, you will able to find what is the formula that you have used in this in order to calculate this. That formula will be present over here. This area we call it as formula bar. Okay, this area is called as formula bar, and the short function that displays the formula is f of x, and this we call it as formula bar. And one more thing, worksheet area. Worksheet area means this is the central area where you will work on the Excel, where you store your data. This area we call it as worksheet area. In the worksheet area, if you type any cell, suppose 4. So actually this floor we will be seeing it contains what are the rows over here in the Excel, the horizontal columns that this we call it as rows A, B, C, D, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? The horizontal one, this we call it as rows in Excel. Okay. And what are the columns in the Excel? The verticals A, B, C, D. These are called as the columns in Excel. And you need to understand what is the cell address. The horizontal one, we call it as rows. The vertical, we call it as columns. A, B, C, D, we call it as columns. And 1, 2, 3, 4, we call it as rows. Now, what is meant by cell address? Suppose I'm typing over here this as 100. Now I want to know this 100 is present in which row and which column. So when you select the cursor over here, it will take you to see, you can find over here the H5. What does it indicates? The H5, it indicates it is the cell address. The first one we call it as a column name, and second 5 we call it as row name. So H means this cell is present in H column. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? In the H column, 5 means row. That means in fifth row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth row. That means in H column and in the fifth row, you can able to find this number. This we call it as cell address. Okay. So if you type it as somewhere, you can type it as here 200. And what is the cell address for it? So you can see it is in which column? N column, right? This is N column. Okay. What is this row? It is present in this. When you select this over here, it is in present in 12th number. That means 12. So address is N12. So it is in nth column and it is present in the 12th row. Now you can sometimes you can change this column address also. I want so suppose I am mentioning it as Janardhan instead of I will go to another column. I will mention it as Janardhan. So this address of the cells will be N and it will be 14. But and I want to rename as it is indicating the name. So I might be changing it to the name over here. Right? See the name right over here in the end. Suppose there is due to some default in some conditions for the predefined functions. If there are predefined in the functions, you cannot change the name. But in case of no predefined functions are there, like in Excel, if there are some predefined functions, you may not able to change the name. But in some cases, if the predefined functions are not there in the Excel, so in that condition, you can change the name of that bar also, that cell number also. But count, name, these are some predefined function. In that case, you cannot change. But in some case, if the values are stored over here, if you want to change the cell address also, in some condition, you can able to change the name as well. Now, there is one another condition we call it as state. The other one we call it as status bar. So what is meant by the status bar? When you look at the status bar over here, the down bar we call it as this is called as status bar. Ready, accessibility, investigation. This is called status bar where we can minimize or maximize your data. We call it as status bar. So when the status bar will be more visibility will be there. Suppose I am taking some numbers like 2 or 3 or 4 and 5. So if I select these numbers over here, so as of now, the status bar contains only maximize and minimize. But what is meant by maximize and minimize? This is zoom slider. If you place like this, your screen size will, because if you have some more numbers up to A, B, you have stored the data. If you want to see that, you can minimize, you can see more amount of the columns, more number of the columns. Or if you come over here, like you can adjust your the worksheet area. This we call it as zoom slider, which is present in the status bar. Now I'm adjusting to the normal size. This is central. This is a normal area. Now, if I select this count over here, this without having any numbers are selected in the blank column, this status bar remains empty. But if I select this over here, see, if I select this in the status bar, you have found average, count, and sum. So what is meant by average? So 2, 3, 4, 5. When you count the average, we can add. What is the average? We can say sum of the numbers, total of the numbers by sum of the numbers. That means how many numbers are there. How you can calculate, you can come the total by how many numbers are there. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 for 9, 9 plus 3, 12, 13, 14 by 4. Then you will be getting as 3.5. So this is the average. And second, you can able to find the count of the numbers as well. So how many numbers are there? 4. The numbers are 4. And when you count all these, you will get the sum, like 3 to 5, 5 4 plus 9, 9 plus 5. So this is called, we call it as status bar. Okay, where you can find, able to find, if you select the numbers, what is the average, count, sum, and zoom. This we call it as status bar. And another condition we have, if you want to store the data over here, suppose I went over the data over here, I'm storing, I'm going to some cell, something like ABB. I'm mentioning it as Zenardan. I'm mentioning some data over here. Okay. And I'm repeating this data here. And also I'm mentioning the data to be selected over here. And also I'm drawing here. Some data I'm entering over here. Okay, but initially, where is that I am here present over here? So there is one bars that if you want to go to the end cells, you need to scroll the data, right? So this we call it as scroll bars. So with the help of the score, you can scroll horizontal like this. This is called as scroll bar, which we call it as horizontal scroll bar. And this down we call it as vertical scroll bar. Now what I will do, I will copy this data over here and control C. I will do control C, and I will go to some place over here in the down in the columns, like maybe in the 352 AD 352. I want to store this data over here. Now see your scroll bar at the first point. If you want in the first cell, suppose AC1, your scroll bar is here. Now, if you want to grow, like I have the data at AC 353, I want to move that. You can scroll the data over here and you can go down over here. See, so this is called as scroll bars. If you want the data is present at some point in the Excel, this area we call it as scroll bars. Okay. And another we can this horizontal and scroll bar, and this is called as vertical scroll bar. This we call it as the title bar. Okay, this we call it as quick access toolbar. This is called as title bar. Title bar. Apart from that, there is one option called as search box. So what is meant by this search box? Okay, so let us go through this, and I'm going to here. Let me go to the top over here, and let me bring it search box. So what is meant by search? Suppose if I want to search any cell, like suppose I will type it as cell. Okay, then you can understand. Suppose if you want to add some sum also, if you want to add, I will try to swim as sum. Okay, I will create sum. In the search bar also, I can create like sum over here. It will ask me to give the values. So sum, I will give the number 1, or I will give the number 2. I will give the number 3, and I will ask to add. So the number here, you will get 6. Or you can, in this search also, you are able to go and find what is exactly the location over here. So the average number of any, if you want to find the numbers over here, 2 or 3 or 5. And if you want to calculate over here, the 2, 3, 5 here, the average will be to the sum. I have added the average of 2, 3, 5 to sum, and I have added average of 2, 3 by, then the value comes to 9.33. And if you want to go this, apart from this, this search button also, if you want to go to the specific location also, if you want to the specific location in your Excel, you can also use this search bar. or you can also format the, if you click on cell also, if you want to see the some cells styles like format, how to format your cells. And you can have some type of like in the Google, it's like a Google browser. If you open, it will show the search items. In the same way, it will also help you for the like search items. So I will give some example over here. Now I'm typing this as one like advanced Excel. Okay, advanced Excel. Now what I will do, I will go here and I will search on this. This is a cell, right? This advanced Excel. I will select this and I will type as cell information. So in this, when you type cells, it will give what are the cell information, cell styles, row height, what are the information which related to that particular cell will be highlighted over here. Now I want to format the cells. You can click on format cells. So it will open here. So different options. You can change the style of the cell. You can make it italic, or you can increase the size or decrease the size. So you can make, instead of going over in the home and change in the search person also. Now it is this is in Apatos rows. Now, if you want to change the style of this, I want to change the styles into some Calibri, or if I want to change into Arial font. So you can select over here and you click on OK. So this is changed into Arial. Now, if you want to make the cell bold, go to the format cells over here. Now you can click on bold. Okay. Now this Arial. Now click on OK. So this advanced Excel, it becomes bold. Now, if you want to increase the size also, just you can type as a cell over here in the search button. Go to the format cells. Here the size is 11. See, that means what is the information here is the font style, it is Arial. You have selected bold and the size is 11. So if I want to increase the size to 14, just make it as 14 and click on OK. So that one, the size of this will be changed. So this we call it as search box. And there is another button in here, what we discussed. This is the quick access toolbar. This is the title bar. This is a search bar. And here you can see this, we call it as window control buttons. This we call it as, you can see the ninth one also in the quick access below this, you can control, we call it as, these are window control buttons. So if you click on over this, your screen will be somewhat minimized over here, you can see. And again, if you click on maximize, your Excel sheet will be maximized. And if you go over here, this, then your total, it will get minimized. It will store over here and it will not appear. And again, if you click on over here, then it will appear over here. Now, if I click on cancel, that means this will be closed. If your data is not saved, try to save the data. And if you click on OK, it is asking whether you are able to save the data. And before closing the data, it is recommended that you need to save your data. So this we call it as window control buttons. Okay. Now, this we call it, there are other, we call it as this area. So before, what we call this, we call it as when I click on this numbers here, we got the status bar, right? Above the status bar, we have some sheets over here. This we call it as worksheets. Worksheet means this sheet number 1, sheet number 2, sheet number 3, sheet number 4, and sheet number 5. So these are called as worksheet tabs. So this is sheet number 5. If you want to rename this, you can double click and you can give as Excel work. You can just rename it. Or you can, instead of this sheet 4, if you click double click, you can rename it directly. So if you want to click on this, if you directly click on rename, you can rename the sheet as well. So I am renaming this instead of the sheet is practice file something. You can click on add practice file. So this is how you can rename the sheet. And if you want to click this Excel workbook, you can right click, you can delete the sheet. If you want to insert a new sheet, click after this Excel workbook, you need to click on insert, and after insert worksheet, and if you click on OK, OK, so a new worksheet. Before this, a one Excel workbook, before the Excel workbook, one sheet has added to it. Now, if you want to delete, suppose I don't want this sheet 6 over here. If you want to delete, you can delete this sheet. Okay. So in this is the way that if you want to move copy, that you will be protect the sheet, that you will be discussing in the coming classes. But this I want to convey you that this sheet we call it as worksheet tab sheet. Okay. Now this we have understand the cell address also. the central column. If I want to represent this, all this it in a single, in a pictorial representation, if I want to represent in one slide, let me go through it. Excel demo here. I want to represent, I want to show this in a single view so that it will become easy for you to understand what are the different one. If I'm able to save it. Practice file sheet 3, sheet 2. Yeah, I will try to. Yeah. See, this is a quick access. We call it as this, we call it as quick access toolbar. And this data entry and formatting, this is the title, right? So this is the title bar. Here we have search item, right? Search. This we call it as search box. Here we have this window control buttons, plus or minus. We call it as window control button. And this file, home, page layout, what we have discussed, we call it as tabs, right? So this we call it as tabs. And if you click on any tab, you will find some options related to that, right? Inside we have some options. That options I called it as ribbon. So that we here find you can call it as ribbon. And if you select any cell, you will find that what is the column name and what is the row name. So that we call it as cell address. And the entire sheet we call it as worksheet. And this horizontal 2, 3, 4, 5, this is called rows, row 1, row 2. And this vertical A, B, C, D, we call it as columns. In a cell, this will be horizontal will be rows and vertical will be the columns. And apart from that, we have this scroll bars, horizontal and vertical scroll bars. You can see these are the scroll bars, horizontal scroll bar and vertical scroll bars. And have seen plus or minus, we call it as window control buttons. And the down we can see here, we call it as status bar, right? If you select a few others, you can find this is the status bar. This is the status bar, which is the dead bottom. And below the state bottom, we have this scroll bars. So this is the general Excel interface that you need to understand before knowing about what what are the understanding the Excel interface will be very essential for everyone. Now, let us go to this. I want to display, suppose now let us see with some like some examples. So series, like I want to give some example over here. My requirement is, yeah, I will go to this Excel workbook. My requirement is, I want to add, suppose I want to add numbers from 1 to 100. So if I ask me is that I will have the numbers that you have the few numbers, I am asking, I want to asking you to add the numbers from 1 to 100. So I will, how you will add? Suppose you may have, suppose 1, 2, like 3, or you can type it manually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, you can add the numbers over here, like 5. You may type these numbers or 5 and you can add it so manually. So that is the one task that you can do, right? So that it will take to type the numbers and add, it will take a lot of time, okay, for adding the numbers. Now there is a second option that what you will do. So in order to add the numbers to what is the second options? Like you can add the numbers. Like suppose here I want to type the numbers or I want to give the numbers from 1 to 100 like here. So there is another option that you can able to find over here, like a 1 to 1000. If you add a 1 to 1000 numbers if you want. So if I'm asked, I want to give the numbers, type the numbers from 1 to 1000 or 1 to 100. So some people will be manually typing these numbers. It will take a lot of time. Some of the people having the knowledge on how to type, I want the numbers 1 to 100 over here. So they will know, like they will type as 1 and 2 over here. Then they will try to drag it. So they will try to drag up to 100, like 14. Again, they will select some 2 and they will try still 100 you will get, you are able to drag. What happens if I try to ask them to add like the numbers like 1 to 1000? Like I want to go get the numbers from 1 to 1000. So it becomes they will try to drag and it will take a lot of time for them to drag that numbers. Okay, that is also a manual task and it will also take a lot of time. Now, there is another option. Instead of this, there is one option called as sequence option. So if you type the numbers, it is taking a lot of time. And if you drag this also, some people will be find a better option. But if I ask what if 10,000? So if you try the drag 10,000, if you're able to drag, it will take a lot of time. Now, this was an interview question. So how I can get the sequence and number 1 to 1000? So by using one formula. So that formula we call it as sequence option. Okay. What is meant by sequence option? In the sequence, suppose you need to write have the formula is equal to sequence sequence. You type it as sequence, and it is once you type of the sequence, it will ask row. So from which row it is asking once the sequence you want how many numbers you want. I want the rows of suppose my requirement I want 1,000 rows like 1, 2, 3, 4 like this 1,000 rows I want. So here what I requirement is I want 1,000 rows means 1, 2, 3, 4 you are typing it's take a lot of time. Or 1 to 1,000 if I want to drag it is also taking a lot of time. But I'm using a formula called as sequence. With the help of the sequence, it asks asking you are using sequence. It is asking rows. How many rows you want? It is asking. So my rows I want as 1,000 rows, like 1,000. And after that, it is asking to give comma. Just give the comma. And it is asking the columns. So you want that 1,000 rows in a single column or you want in multiple columns? I want in a single column like 1, 2, 3, 4 like that in a single column that number should store. So that's why it is asking columns in how many columns you want. My requirement I want in only one column in the column F. So mention in how many columns I want in the columns only one column. Mention that. And after that, it is asking start. After column, it is asking to give comma. Just try to give the comma. Now it is asking start. So what is the start number? So you want 1,000 rows like 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the first number it is asking? My first number is 1. I want to start from 1. So it is asking the number as start. And I want to start with 1. And after that, it is asking to give comma. Just give comma. Now step. Step means you want to increase the number by 1 or 3 or 4, or that means you want 1, then two numbers to be added 4 plus 2 plus 2, or you want odd numbers or you want each number. That means at each step you want how many numbers to add. But I want a continuous number. That means I will mention the step as only 1. That means 1, 2. That means for every row it will add 1, 1 to it. If you mention 2 means 1 plus 2, 2 plus 2, 1 plus 2. Then for next number, it will add plus 2. Then number it add plus 2. But I don't want that. I want the continuous numbers, right? So the default the step I need to give them mention as 1. Now you close the formula. So what is the formula I mentioned? Sequence is equal to sequence. I want the 1,000 rows. Mention the rows as 1,000. Comma in how many columns you want. I want the column results in only single column. You mention the column name. Okay. Now after that, you want to start the what is the first number you want to start? I want to start from number 1. You mention as a number 1, comma, and step. You want to add 1, 1 to it step. That means 1 plus 1 plus 1, 1. You want to add the continuous number by plus 1 plus 1, right? So mention as plus 1. Now you click on this. Okay. Now see the results. See from 1, if you go to the 1,000 at the end. So if you go to like this in the 1,000, it will take a lot of time. So what is a better way that you can go directly from here? You can click on select this button and click on Control D. You will go to the last one. Or you can mention as Control D or page down button, which then the laptop you can go there. Click on the control and page up, you will go to the first up. So control plus page up, you will go to the first cell. Control plus page down, you go to the last cell. See, you got the sequence of the numbers from 1 to 1,000. Okay, 1 to 1,000. But if you follow the normally, it will take a lot of time. If you go drag and drop option, major of the people are habituated to this. This is not. But I want to add the number by using a sequence option. This will be there in those you store in the advanced Microsoft 360. That means advanced version only you will able to use this sequence formula. Now I want the output same. I want to output in the 2 columns. Suppose if I select as the same formula over here, in not output in 1, I want to output the column in 2 columns. Now how I will get this number? So in the same formula, instead of using the sequence, suppose I'm using is equal to sequence formula I'm using. Okay. Sequence formula, select this and click on the tab. Okay. Now it is asking the rows. I want the 100 rows for our example, 100 rows. After that is asking to give comma, right? Columns. It is asking the columns. I don't want the output in one column. I want the output on two columns. Okay. So this column H and column 2. So I will keeping as column 2, right? And after giving the column 2, it is asking to give comma, right? So what is the start number? I should start from 1. And after start, you need to give the comma. And it is asking you, same, I want to increase the number by 1. Okay, right? Now 100, sequence of 1000. Number of the columns, I want the output in H and 2 columns. Start is, I want to start from number 1. Step, I want increment 1 plus by number should add by 1. Now it is asking you to close the formula. You just close the formula over here. Now you click on commit button. See, you will get the output over here like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at the 100, and it will go up to here in 1000, and you will get the value up to 100 plus 200. That means columns are 2. You will get the 100 rows over in this column, and you will also get the 100 rows over here. But you will get the output is in this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 100 rows, you will get the 100 rows, but it is in two columns. In the each column, the number should be added by 1. That's why 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like that, you will get an increment 1 when you increase the column number. And if you give the 3, same 100 rows you will get. Now say I will use the formula same over here in the first formula. I mention as 3. So I will get the output in 3 columns, and I will get up to the numbers up to 300. So I will mention the columns as 3 and in OK. You will see 1, 2, 3, 4. The rows will be 100. The mentioned rows might be 100. You can see from here rows will be 100, but you have increased the column name has 3. So it will start adding 1 plus 1 plus 3. Again, it will come 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if you want to get the multiples over here in the real time also, they will ask me, I want 1 to 500 numbers. I want to 1 to 500 numbers, and it should come in the 5 columns. If that question will be asked in somebody asked you, just you can make it in the 100 rows. You mention it as a column 5. Increment is 1. Click on OK. So you will get 1 to 500 numbers. You will be getting over here 500 numbers. You will get and each column will have a 100 like here 100 rows in will get like, and the number will be added column wise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like this, you will get sequence. Now the same formula, you have added the continuous. He will ask you number. I want to add the odd numbers from 1 to 100 here continuous number. If the question will be asked to you here, add numbers to that, I will get the number sequence, the odd number sequence I want. Okay. So if you want, finally, if you add the number, you will come down 1 to 1000 numbers, right? You can come down. Here, if you want to add this, you can use is equal to sum directly, and you can mention column 1 to column 3, and the last column, you will be getting the sum over here. But my requirement is another requirement I am asking. I want the number sequence to be the odd numbers. So I don't want the continuous numbers. I want the sequence to be in odd. So how you can change this formula if you want to get the odd numbers? Okay. So let us write the formula. So I want the 50 numbers, the rows, first 50 rows numbers, but I want it in odd numbers. Okay. How I will write the formula is equal to, you write as sequence. Okay. You can type it as sequence is equal to sequence. You click on the tab. Now you need to mention the rows. So how many rows I want? I want the rows to be 1,000 rows. Okay. I want the rows as 1,000 rows, or I want just 50 rows. I think just I mention as a 50. Okay. And after that rows, it is asking give the column. After rows, it is asking to give comma. You mention the comma. And it is asking columns. So how many columns you want? I want the output only single column. So only the, I don't want like this output in 5 columns, only 50 numbers. So I want output in only 1 column. So I will mention the column name as 1. After that is asking to give comma, just give the comma over here. Now start. What is the first number? I want to start from odd numbers, means starts from 1 is an odd number. So you have to start with 1 and comma. After start, you need to go step. Now step instead of if you want to continuous number continuous, you will mention as 1. But if you want to add the number, you need to add +2. So what is the first is the odd number. What is the second number? Odd number is 3. 1 plus 2 is 3. Next odd number is 5. 3 plus 2 is 5. Next odd number is 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. Next odd number is 9. 7 plus 2 is 9. That means the step value means the increment value you should mention as 2. Okay. Now you close the bracket. You will get the odd number. The sequence you will be getting in the odd number. Now click on this commit button. You will see enter button. You will get the odd numbers 1 to 4. This number first 1 to 50. First 50 rows. You mentioned the 50, right? That means the rows has 50. In the first 50 rows, like from here, fifth to the last rows, you can see the first 100 numbers you will be getting over in the odd numbers. Okay. See 1 plus 3. If you count if you want to control C and you can come to the down over here, the count will come becomes the hour. The count will be 50. You want first 50 numbers, 50 rows only, no? That 50. So the sum will be when you add this, the sum will be 2500. Okay. Now you can see over here, like the odd, in order to get the odd number in the first 50 rows, you mention the rows number and you mention the column number over here and the starting from the first letter number 1, but increment step we added 2 because for the odd number you need to add +2, 1 plus 2, 3, 5, 7. So in the first 50 rows that in a single column, you are able to get the odd numbers. Now, in order to now I will ask a question. So how you can add the even numbers? Now, how you can add the even numbers? Now, see, I will explain how to add the normal numbers and how to add the odd numbers. Now, I am asking you to add the even numbers. So how you will add the even numbers? By using sequence. Even numbers means what? Increment should be 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So now I am writing the same formula. To write the formula, you need to use is equal to. Now you need to use sequence. Okay, I'm using the sequence. In the sequence that you can see, in the sequence, first you need to mention the rows, right? How many rows I want? 50 rows. Okay, same 50 rows. So I'm mentioning it in the number of the rows is 50. After rows, it is asking to give comma, just you can give the comma. And columns, I want the output in only single column. So I'm mentioning the column as 1. And after the column, you need to give the comma. Okay. Start, what you mention in the even number, you should not give 1. You need to give as 2. So even number, what is the first even number? 2, right? So the starting number you need to give as 2. And comma. So for the even number, how many numbers you add? You will get the even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That means step value also will be 2. If you want to get a number from the first even number is 2. And if you get the next even number, you need to add +2. Next even number, if you want to get +2, 6, +2, 8. That means for every step, you need to add the 2. Like the step you need to mention as 2. Now you try to close the bracket. Very simple. Is equal to sequence. Rows, I need to get 50 rows. And column, I need to get the column in single column. 2 means the first even number is 2. The starting number is 2. And for every number, I need to add the step as 2. Now, if you click on OK, you will able to see this. Yeah. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Like this, you will get. So this is called as sequence option. In the assignment, you can give, I want the sequence on number 2, 2. If I mention 50, you are writing, now suppose if I mention here 1000 also, it's not a problem. If I mention 1000, the 1000 rows will be automatically added. It's not a problem. You can click on OK. See here, from here, you need to go to the 1000 rows at the end. You can go to here, you can see the rows will be added over here. 10,000 rows will also you can add over here. That is the use of the sequence. Okay. With this formula also you can understand, if you know such type of the formula, instead of you can avoid the manual intervention and you can able to achieve the results faster. Now, apart from that, I will give you some type of assignment to you. Let us do some practical example over here. So as a first class, so what I will do, I will give some numbers for you. So my number, I will give the name column, right? So I will mention it as phone. Another type is phone number. Okay, phone number, and let us type as first name. And you can give it as last name. Okay. So I will give some numbers over some name over here. So the name I'm saying it as, so I will try to delete this as far of time name. What I will do. So I will give the full name. See, Patipaka Janardhan. So I'm giving some space. I also will Jyoti. So these are the names I have given. So this is the full name. Actually, where I'm seeing the full name. And this full name, I want to separate this into first name and last name. I want to separate it by using the first name and the last name. So how I can separate this? How can I will separate this? So first you need to select, in order to get this, you need to select this as the data. This is the data I want to separate. I need to go to the section called as data section. Okay, in the data section. Now in the data section, there is an option called as text to columns. So you can find, this is called this. I will try to move over here. So it is creating some disturbance. Yeah. I'm selecting this data from over here. And let us go to here in the data section. I will go to the text to columns. Once you go to the text to column, it is showing the what is the text it is there. It is displaying over here. It is saying delimited characters such as comma tab to separate each field. It is selecting. It is showing here. Okay, I'm going to next. Once after going to next, it is asking me. So what are these topics? Like each tab should be separated by which? It is asking for me. Or is it should be separated by the name should be separated by space. So I have selected the space over here. No, I don't select this other. Okay. And delimiters, I'm selecting, not selecting, I'm selecting the space over here. Okay. Delimiter is a space. And I'm clicking on next. In the next, the names will be separated. It is asking the final output where you need to get in the A3 or which one. So here A3, this sheet is it is present in A3, right? From A3. So I'm mentioning it is not in the A3. I want to get from B3. So here, this is the output. This is B and 3. So I want to mention it in B3. Okay. Now let us click on finish. So once you click on finish, you see the number Patipaka Janardhan, it is there. It will be divided into, see, Patipaka and Janardhan. So how we have splitted it? How we have splitted the first name, this full name Patipaka Janardhan, the first name Patipaka and last name Janardhan. So I'm repeating again, I'm selecting these numbers. So how we have selected, just you need to select these numbers. Okay, then select this data. You need to go to the data view. Go step back. Go to the data. In the data, you have text to columns. In the text to column, this is deliver already selected. You need to go to the next. And already, if you want to separate this numbers, so in between we have the space, right? So the space that I have this should be separated by space. I have selected the space over here. And next, you need to click on next. So you want to data. If you click on same over here, within here Patipaka and you will get Janardhan. So I don't want in this column from B column, B9 I want, so I need to try to change over here into B. Right. Now you click on next, that's it. See the name Patipaka Janardhan will be displayed. So this is how you try to big up, separate your data. Now, let us, you can see there is another example I will give. Suppose phone number. So how to separate first and last name we have seen. How to separate the phone number. Suppose I have the data as phone number. Okay. Phone number data. Phone number data. So in the phone number, suppose I have some code and I have some number. So code, suppose clicking as code 040 code number and something you are getting the number as something 920. 476. You will also 040 809669535. You will also type 040, comma 7867645. Again 040, comma, I will type the number 8978 some. Now I want to separate this code number from here. When I separate code instead of 040, it will come as 40. What's the reason being? Any value before some number, it doesn't any have value. So instead of 040, it may consider as 40. You may not get 040. That I am thinking. Just let us see. So I'm selecting over here. I want to split this number. I want the code number should be coming over here. This is phone number. Suppose you think this is a entire phone number, delete. So I'm thinking I want the code come in this column and I want a number, phone number in this column. Here, phone number with code I have. I want to split. So in order to split this, what you will do? You will select the data over here, right? You select that. And let's go to the data section. Now you need to go to again where text to two columns. In the text to column delimited, okay. Just you need to go to the next. And again, you need not to let the space. Okay, you need to remove that space. We don't have space over here. Because in between these, do we have space? Previously, we have Patipaka Janathan, we have space. That's why I selected. Now I'm selecting it. You need to select other. And other in other, what is the difference? In between this, we have hyphen, right? You need to mention that hyphen over here. Already it is mentioned as hyphen. That means minus like in between them like. Now if you click on next, okay, you click on next. Now it will ask for cell address. So within this I want to sell or I want to get from next. So this is A column, right? It is from A17, but I want from B17. Okay, just you remove this A and keep as B. So I will get the output from here B17. Now you need to click on finish. Once you click on finish over here, you will get C code. That's why see 040 you may answer why we got 40. So before any value before 0, before the particular number will not carry any number. It's like any number before 040, it considers 40. That's why you got this. Now again, if you want to go to the home and if you select this also, like go to the home, and if you want to bring this to here, you can, or if you want to bring to the center, you can center and as a. So we have separated the phone number and code here. So this is how you can separate the data. Suppose if any phone number and code is given, if they are asking to give this. So for the freshers somewhere you're attending, or it may be people that will be asked in the chat box, they will give the number it is given. They will show in share your screen how you can split the data. They will give first and second name, how you can split the data. And they might be given example. So can you give the add the number from, I want to give the rows from 1 to 100 continuous. Now without using drag and drop, how you will give. And you will find, can you give the sequence numbers of in first 50 rows, I want only odd numbers, how you can do it. So in that case, you need to understand sequence. He may ask like, I want the 1,000 numbers, 1,000 rows, only even numbers. So which formula you will use? In this case, if you use this sequence of the formula, then you might be aware that he is updating his knowledge on the Excel. So he's aware of some new concepts in the Excel. See, before like in the coming classes, you will see that there are a lot of the options till many are not explored. They are habituated to use only older traditional options. As this is a basis Excel, you can see, but once 3 or 5 classes will be completed, 3 or 4, once basic Excel is completed, when you enter into advanced topics, you will discuss about a lot of examples that what are the new features which are used in the Excel so that you can complete the task. But as this is the basic classes might be, some people may not be having the knowledge. So it's my duty go step by step. Okay, right. Now, there is another options also. This is how you can split the data, separate the first name and the last name. And some, suppose I have some data, okay? Suppose to format the quantity column with no decimal places. So there is one, I want to format the some quantity column. as a number with no decimal places. I want to format a quantity with a number with no decimal place. Suppose I take some example over here. Any example, simple example. So I will take as item quantity. So what is the item? So I'm taking it as apples. I'm taking as bananas, oranges. Quantity I'm taking in points, but never the quantity might be no, in grams. So if I mention it is in pulses. Rice, sugar. So it may quantity you are saying it in kgs, 10.2 kgs, like 1.2 kgs. So 10.2 I'm mentioning. I'm mentioning decimals, it is 5.05. I'm mentioning 8.008 like this. Kgs. Now what I will do, so if I want this number, suppose this is item over here. Now I don't want the decimal number. I want to round these numbers. I want to, if I want to increase the decimals or if I want to decrease the decimal. So I want to format this quantity column without no decimals. So the decimal should not present. I will get 10, 5, 8.08 only. How you can get this? In this condition, you need to first select this. You need to first select this, these three. And in the home tab, you need to go here to the decimals. Once you click on this, it is showing increase the decimal. That means the number of the decimals will be increased over here. One point it will increase. See, it 10.20, 5.550, 8.8808, 8.880, 9. That it will go on increasing the number. So when you click on this, decrease the decimal, show fewer decimal places. It is showing. See, you can see. Now you can decrease the decimal spaces. 10.2, 10, here 10, 10.2, 5.1, 8.0. If you decrease, I will get this way. Now, if I sum here, now the values inside the values, it is 10.2 only. So if I click here, if you find, see, it is 10, it is showing. But when you click on, when you go and see in the formula bar, the quantity will show as 10.2. See here, it is 10.2. But you have decreased the decimal spaces by over here. If you go 5, the actual value show 5.505. If 8, it will also 8.08. Now, if I go and click on this sum, sorry, is equal to, if I do sum, now if I do the sum of this over here and click on enter, I'm getting 23. Okay, it is 23 is equal to sum is equal to 23. But when you see the actual value, the actual value put control C, and if you click on control alt V, click on V over here, see the actual value C is 23.2508. Okay, but you have used this columns, it will show only rounded values you have counted. But actually, when you see over here, the value remains is 23.248. Okay, so this is the data that you can able to see over here. When you use the aggregated value as 23, that means it may use, like if you select this also, the sum remains is like 23, but it will show the count, but it's actually 23.508. So in order to count any decimals, if I want to decrease the decimals, you need to grow, and this point will show increase the decimals. Here it will do the decrease in the decimal. Now internal values will not change. Okay. Now the next example, I want to format the price of a column as a currency. So in the next step we'll discuss. I want to format the price column as currency. I want to format the price column as currency. So like if you take this example, same pulses I will take over here. I will take this. This is same values I'm taking here. But I'm mentioning this as same item. Okay. I'm mentioning instead of this is control C. I'm mentioning this as not quantity. I am making as price. Right. I'm mentioning as a price. Now, if I select this price 10, 15, 5, but I don't want this as 10 in numbers. I want this is in some currency, Indian currency, like dollar or some rupee symbol. I want to get it. So how you can get the rupee symbol currency in the rupees if I want to select? How you can select here? So you can select this over here. You can go to the home tab. Here we have an option called as number. So here this is a number format, the 10 5. But if I want to convert into currency format, you need to click over here and you can see this is currency. Now click on the currency over here. The numbers will be changed into rupees, rupees 10 rupees, 5.08 rupees. Okay. If I click on this also in the currency like this here, you will be able to understand. Now you can ask also from this currency it is there. Now you can ask me, sir, automatically it is taking as a dollar or a rupee. Now you might ask me, sir, I want to convert into US dollar. I want to convert into Chinese dollar, like Swiss dollar. That type of the question you might be asking. But automatically by default, it has ended into the Indian currency. Will it take, when you take this over here, it will automatically take the currency in Indian rupees. But if you select this over here, and if you go to the currency over here in this, there will have more number formats. In this four member formats, here we have the symbol rupees, right? It has symbol the rupees, it has selected. But if you want to select that US dollar or something, instead of here, there is an option called over here. You can see here, Azerbaijan, here, UK, something. All this is related to, you will have English currency, Belgian, Hong, New Zealand currency, United States currency. It is a dollar if you want to select. You can select this, you can click on OK. So that will be changed to dollar. So this is the way that you need to understand how you can change the currency and how you can change the values over here. Okay. So this is the basic introductions actually. So as the first class, we have discussed about how the procedure will be there, like how to understand different Excel interface. Okay. And we have seen about what are the different components are there. This if this sheet is visible to you. As an Excel professional, first you need to know the basic. What is this each and every tab? What is quick access toolbar? What is title bar? What is this search box? What is a Windows control button? What is cell address? What is cell and row? What is this formula bar? What is this tab? What is this ribbon tab? What is this worksheet tabs? And what is this status bar? What are this scroll bar? And how you can able to perform some basic calculation with the type of the Excel, how to extract the first full name, first name and second name, how to extract the name from phone number if it's given, how to extract this, and how to change this dollar name, quantity column, how to round the numbers to this, and how to change the numbers from to the currency. Okay. So as this is the first class as a basic introduction, I don't want to precise more on this, but coming to the second classes, if you're able to go through this demo, if you like the classes, and in the coming classes, as it is a basic, from the second and third, the classes will be going to some advanced level. And from the tomorrow class, right away, this is the first class as a demo, which will be free for everyone. And second, tomorrow, the exclusive 2 hours will be a free session for you. So go through this next class from 7 to 9. In the tomorrow class, I will take from exact from 7 to 9 and we'll cover some important topics in the Excel. So if you have any doubts, like you can ask me, and tomorrow the classes will be going from the regular classes will be from 7 to 9. And one more thing, it is a weekend batch from morning. It is only on Saturdays and Sunday. And the total course content will be more than 45 hours. But if I extend from a project in the live project, I can take 5 hours classes more. So this is the general and the course content that what I have shared will the format exactly this course contents will be following in the classes, but what you have discussed about over here. Introduction to Excel, how to change custom functions. So these are the generally this course curriculum only will be entirely following throughout the sessions, like how many advanced topic, what are the interview questions, and how to Excel, what are the basic Excel will be following in each. And let's move down to the Excel options, functions, arithmetic functions. We'll discuss test functions, pro formatting, time and date function we will discussing. And apart from in the advanced Excel, what if analysis, data validation, logical analysis, array functions, pivot tables, slices, and finally by using all these topics, we will try to create the Excel dashboard. And from all this, you will try to build one project as a data analytics project from end to end. Okay, this is as a first class. I'm stopping it. The session is earlier. But once I have given the basic introductions of the Excel, how it look, because some fresher might be attending the session. And from tomorrow class, the classes will be very regular, 7 to 9. And it will be a weekend batch. Okay. So let me stop the recording. And one more request.